But this year I thought I might make a different kind of video and just reflect a bit on the last 11 years, the past 11 years, the first 11 years of this new version of myself that is still changing. And yeah, I guess the kind of video I'm wanting to make this time around is really where I just express some gratitude for the experience of transition and all the gifts that it has given me, and maybe just share a little bit about that, because I think a lot of people speak about the frustrations and the dysphoria and the discomfort and all of the uncomfortable things that bring them to this path of transition. And I'm excited to be at a place where I can look back on all of the gifts of this experience, because I have to put, one of the main gifts that always comes to mind is just the gift of perspective. And now that I have this very unique perspective of having lived 34 years of my life, recognized as being a female-bodied person, and now I've lived 11 years, recognized, well, not the entirety of that 11 years, because as we, so many trans people know, there's a period of time where you're definitely not recognized as anything other than you've always been. So, it does take some time before people start to see you. And it did take some time, I think, for people to be able to see me the way I have always felt inside. And I'm grateful for that perspective, though, that those years that I lived in a different body and with totally different social experiences, work experiences, a totally different perspective, really, of the world. And now I just feel so much more expanded in my perspective, and I see things from multiple perspectives, which is definitely a gift for me, I think. And I guess the second gift that transition has given me is just a greater ease in my physical body. I was really uncomfortable in a female body, and I was really uncomfortable that people could only see my female body so often. And so all those words, all the labels associated with female body, when they would land on me, it just made me realize that I was not that. And now that I have had this experience of transition, and now that I have some distance and some time and some perspective, I'm also 45 years old now and not 34 years old. So just my life experiences have changed in the last 11 years. I do say, and I commiserate some with other trans people who start a little bit later in life, as I did, on the reality of transitioning into middle age. I think we all have these visions of ourselves of being able to relive our youth as in a more comfortable way. And that is an experience that I simply won't have, other than what I'm creating now for myself, which, it's an opportunity for me to recreate the parts that I can, and to live differently now, in terms of how I feel in my own body and my own skin. And that brings me, I think, to, and related to that comfort in my own body, I think, is just a presence in my body that I did not have before transition. Like, I was so uncomfortable in that body that I disconnected from it a lot. I was not connected to my body. I was not connected to my own sense of well-being, my own sense of self-love. I mean, I hated myself. I hated my body, and there was a lot of self-loathing, a lot of discomfort that now, has been transformed. It's been transmuted into something elevated. It is now, all of that self-hatred is slowly becoming self-love. And I think is probably the greatest gift of all that I've received in transition. Because, when I was hating myself, I wasn't helping myself. I was just spiraling in that self-hatred and shame. And so, it's funny. I think about the small things that have happened in transition. I think we expect a lot of the big changes, like the secondary sexual characteristics. Like those are all the physical changes that I think so many trans people are excited about when they first start their transition. I was excited about appearing more masculine. But then there are things like, I don't emotionally eat in the way that I did when I was primarily estrogen based. And I don't know if it's a hormone thing or if it's just an ease within my own body thing. I did go off testosterone for several months this year, and I gained quite a bit of weight because I think immediately I sort of started feeling uncomfortable again. And not immediately, but over a period of weeks and months, I definitely found myself in an old familiar way of thinking about myself, and that those little pieces of shame and self-hatred started creeping in. And growing up, I bit my fingernails terribly. And 11 years ago, within a matter of months of starting testosterone, I had stopped biting my fingernails. And that stayed the case until I stopped testosterone again this past year after 10 years of being on it. And then immediately I started biting my fingernails again. It was not a conscious decision, but there was this underlying anxiety that returned. And that's how it expressed itself in my being. And now that I've been back on testosterone for a few months, I've stopped biting my fingernails again. And I think that's one of the most interesting, subtle signs of health for me, in a way. So, I know this is a kind of a little different video for marking these 11 years, and maybe I'll make another one that is, focused differently. But for now, I just sort of wanted to ramble a little bit about some of these gifts, and maybe there'll be more that come to me, but I think this is a good start. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here, and hope y'all are having a great week. Talk again soon.